Sorry,
Okay.
I'm here.
All right. We are good and we are live streaming, so we're ready to roll.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're going to start the ad hoc school start time committee at 4:23 p.m. Okay. First on the agenda is we're going to approve of the minutes. So call to order our meeting. We're going to approve our minutes. Does anyone have any changes?
You need a motion first.
Sorry, motion to approve the minutes. Sorry,
I'll make the
Jen.
motion.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, any changes?
Any changes?
All right. Since I can't see everybody, I'll call the roll. So, Ms. Schuster,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Oladele.
Abstain.
Okay. Motion passes, and you're good. We didn't get any requests for public comment, so.
Okay, great. Okay, so for our last meeting, we were discussing drafting the presentation for the BOE superintendent's meeting that is scheduled for November 6th at 12:30 in the Orange District offices. The goal is to gauge a level of interest from our elementary school districts in perhaps adjusting times if needed. And because we do have some shared services and teacher contracts to take into consideration. So our last meeting, we discussed, I guess all the relevant reasons why we're looking to doing this. The goal is to have healthier start times to increase performance for our adolescents. And we discussed that sleep studies show, along with American Academy of Pediatrics, recommending that middle schools and high schools don't begin until at least 8:30 in the morning. And our current districts, we begin at 7:34 with our elementary schools beginning around 8:30. So, there are some things that we can do, but first we want to invite them to the conversation and talk about, first, I guess, why we're doing this, because this is better for our students and for adolescents, for performance, academic performance, better mental health. You also see better physical performance, safer driving, decrease in interest in maybe substance abuse and other risky behaviors, and also looking at tardiness and just staying awake in class. So this is just the beginning phases. Andrea sent a study that she found around earlier elementary schools that begin later or earlier. And
Wait, Andrea,
Go
can you
ahead.
share that with us? Because Tom, I know, sent one out, but we didn't get your study that you shared.
I think that was it.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's the one that Tom shared. Got it.
Right.
Okay.
And so unless anyone has any other takeaways from it, I don't see that there was any big difference in performance or anything else. I mean, I found some additional information that, the amount of time kids need as recommended for sleep from Sleep Foundation and sleep.org. And when we talk about age school kids, 6 to 13, it's 9 to 11, teens, 14 to 17, 8 to 10. But their peak performance or being attentive begins around 8 o'clock, and then they somehow fall asleep somewhere between 11 and 12, and just based on their adolescent sleep cycles. So does anyone else? So what are thoughts?
So I have a question. Do we want additional studies? Like, do you want like a comprehensive like review of like studies on later school start times? Um, and I'm wondering if like being able to address, I don't know what the findings are. If there's like, did you say they found no difference, Donna?
For elementary schools, there's,
Yeah.
if they start between, between 7:30 and 9.
Okay.
So there's no real difference so if they were to start a little earlier, there's no difference in having their academic performance adjusted or changed based on their start time. And they tend to wake a little earlier anyway,
Yeah.
preschool kids.
Yep.
I mean, overall, they do need more sleep, but they tend to go to bed earlier and wake up earlier.
Yeah.
Right.
Are
And
there
even,
districts in Connecticut that do this already?
are there districts that have, I'm sorry, what was that
The
question?
reverse in Connecticut already, where the older students start later and the younger students start earlier?
I looked at some, and the districts I see, they usually start later.
Yeah,
They start
I don't think anybody's made the flip switch. I
Yeah.
think everybody's just pushed it usually between, say, 15 to 30 minutes.
right.
For both elementary and the
Yes.
middle and
So
high
like,
schools, everybody's just later. Okay.
yes. Yeah, that's
Perfect.
essentially what I think has been tried. And I think our original thought was to try to come out with some arguments to convince the elementary districts that this would be beneficial to them. The
Yep.
study that Tom gave us, and then I think he and I both did some AI deep research. There isn't any benefit to elementary students starting earlier. To Donna's point, there's really no sell on any angle other than at the adolescent angle. So I'm not sure if trying to convince them of benefits to elementary kids is necessarily going to be the way to go, because they're smart people. They're going to find out that there isn't one also. I think
Yeah.
it's going to have to be more of an appeal to just liking, essentially wanting what's best for all kids, not just the kids that are in their district.
Well, also their kids are eventually going to be
Right.
like, adolescents who would benefit from this. So yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Right. Go ahead.
I guess what do we want to come away from? What's the objective for the meeting on the 6th, I think it is, and like, what do we want to come away with and from that meeting?
We would like to know whether or not they even want to talk about this topic.
Okay.
Because if they don't want to come to the table with us, if I can sort of paraphrase for what we said the last time, if they don't want to come to the table, then there's no point in us doing any other work, because it has to be all 4 districts together, or else it's cost prohibitive.
Right. I gave a little more thought to that, Jen. I'd like to hear everyone else's thoughts on even just doing a transportation study and seeing if we can get some efficiencies and within our own district that may allow us to do some shifts. And the only reason I brought this up is because I hear from parents that the students who ride the bus, sometimes they're on for like 40 minutes, which seems a little long. So I'm not sure if you have data on that, and what are the early pickups and how far are they from the school, and maybe looking even at efficiencies that would allow us to make a shift without impacting or needing the elementary schools. Just a question.
I'm sorry, we don't have that. I mean, I have data on what time each bus run leaves and sort of what time they get to the schools. Because we operate with the independent owner operator system, I don't know that we have ever had a person come in and do a transportation analysis. So if our Amity board was willing to pay for that, then that's definitely something that we could do as part of this. I think that could open up some concern of moving away from the owner operator system, because a single operator system perhaps may be more efficient. And I don't know if there is that desire within our 3 towns to do that. There's certainly not that desire on my end, because our owner operators have been more responsible than any of these other large bus companies. But again, that's a possibility. I mean, if they turn us down, the elementary districts, we can put our money into those efforts.
Right. Does anyone think there's any benefit?
So I wonder if one thing that may, cause them to entertain this idea is, Jen, you said it would be prohibitive for us, but it would be for them too, right? Like we all benefit financially, right?
Yes, but
So
I don't think we want to go in and strong arm them and say, well, we're
no,
going to do,
not strong arm them,
right?
but I'm just no, but just pointing out that like that is that's something for them to consider. Or like I think um, I think our goal is to do what's best for like our school age kids, and it may not align with you know their priorities, but it's okay. In the end, we're going to do what we think is best for like our middle and high school age children.
Right. I think
We
we want to
also
approach it
said,
as a community. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Andrea.
we also said last time that it would have to be a significant change. It would basically have to flip-flop. We would need that hour time, right? So we weren't going to give on 15 or 30 minutes if it was that much of a difference. And so to your point, Donna, if we're going to do a transportation study, I think we already know that it's going to take, we're going to need that full hour to do that. And I think I don't know, Jen, our runs full that they, like, even if we cut them down by a couple buses, we'd still need all those buses for transportation.
Yeah, well, and I think any attempt to make our runs shorter, because we're geographically large, it would just require adding buses. I mean, you can,
Right.
I'm
Right.
thinking, yeah, it's just that's what, to get the shorter run, you would just have to put more buses on the road. And then that frustrates people, right? Because then they see not full school buses
Yes.
driving around.
So yeah. So Andrea, actually,
But I bet there's some way that they could be efficient even with the current number of buses. I mean, this is just like the nature of a lot of these things, right? Like the route is the route. It's been the route for, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years. Like do they re-examine? How often do they re-examine the route?
Every
You
year.
know?
No,
Okay.
they will rebuild the routes every year, depending on where kids live.
Okay.
so Andrea, we were actually mistaken because I found a study that said that even a 30-minute shift is beneficial for adolescents, and they highlighted a high school in Princeton, and that beginning in 2019-2020 school year, they shifted their school start time from 7:50 to 8:20, and they saw tardiness drop by 37%, and teachers reporting that students were more awake and that students felt better and that the GPAs were up.
But
So
we need the hour in between. We need the hour in between for the buses to get from one school district to another school district, correct or no?
I think that's what a transportation study would tell
Yes.
us too.
Because remember, we actually don't quite have the hour in between. If you look at what time our school day is starting and what time the elementary day is starting, it's actually slightly less than an hour to begin with. And it's particularly harder on the end of the day run, but we also tend to have fewer kids on our buses at the end of the day because so many are involved in after school activities. So I don't think it takes quite as long. I don't want us to lose sight of the fact we only have about 20 minutes left.
Right.
And that I still think really we can talk about studies and we can talk about transportation studies, but that's the work that comes after. meeting with the superintendents, engaging where their boards are going to be. So I'd like to bring us back to really talking about what is this committee's strategy to pitch the idea of talking about school start time changes to the elementary districts. And Donna, I have the one point you said, why are we doing this? So I think we need to kind of keep
Right.
on building off of that idea,
Right.
so that you can put together whatever your pitch is going to be.
How long do we have?
I would recommend not more than 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm
Okay.
really going to implore that you do not give them a PowerPoint. Give them an
Okay.
infographic, give them a bulleted summary list, give them anything, but do not take them through a PowerPoint.
How
Okay.
about like a 3-slide PowerPoint? No? Like 3 slides.
You guys can do it's your committee, you can do whatever you want,
No,
but
I mean,
just
I guess I get it. Like nobody wants to sit through like a 10-minute, but like 3 slides to aid the discussion, like images, figures, or something with like just as
that's why I
anchors.
was going to think an infographic, because the other thing
Okay,
is they can take
Yeah.
an infographic
with
and
them.
bring it back. Yes, and you can't take the
Got
PowerPoint
it. Okay.
necessarily.
All right.
So I
Okay.
think that's probably a better strategy.
Okay.
And you're right, and they can write their names. I mean, basically, getting enough sleep is vital for all academic health, success and health of all students. So we don't, even if it's a slight shift in having, if we can gain a half an hour and the elementary school can shift a little bit, we just have to gauge if they're interested before. I definitely think that the next steps would be a transportation study and then reviewing the contracts, just letting them know that we would be the ones doing the work and they would be invited to be a part of this and get updates as well. So I think that's also important to include. But the whole reason we're doing this is just because we want to have a school start time that is better for adolescents, for their learning, their academic performance, their engagement. And it does, to Carol's point, it benefits their students who will eventually age up into the Amity district as well.
I think we also have to hook them with like something to do with like cost. And I'm happy to think about this with you, Donna, and Andrea. But I think those are all good. But I think also too we'll need to think about sort of what would make them say, you know what, sure, let's explore. We're interested in exploring.
And I
So.
do want us to be cautious because, like, I pointed out sort of the challenges with some of the teacher contracts at the last meeting. Amity would not take responsibility for reviewing those contracts. Those are their legal documents. They would
Right.
have to be part of this process, and they would have to commit some time and labor to doing some of this work. It can't just be all Amity. And I don't think you want it to be, because again, that comes across as us being the strong arm, as us kind of not inviting them to the table as part of those discussions. So I think, sort of saying like, something like a transportation study, Amity would take responsibility for that, but that we would still, when the time came to present the findings, so to say, that they would be invited to that. We wouldn't just be the purveyor of the information and use the decision without sharing that with them.
Right.
But we do have to be a little careful because it will be work on their part.
Right, but we're here to collaborate and find the best solution for our communities, I think would be definitely the message. And if you think, if we decide that we look at a transportation study and we say, okay, we definitely need 50 minutes between bus routes if we want to do owner operator and stick with that model. And we can definitely look at, okay, it doesn't mean that Amity has to start at 8:30. It could be a little later. It could be 8:15. It would still give somehow that we could still work around and be flexible. We don't have a definite start time or identified, I guess is the best way. It's not saying, okay, we need to start at 8:30. I mean,
So
go
I
ahead.
think that would be important in your infographic, is that that as of right now, it's not like we're going in with an end goal already in mind. I think you want to sort of express that you really don't have, it doesn't have to be 8:30. It doesn't have to be a flip flop or anything like that, right? We speculated, but I think you want to make your presentation appear that you have not already made decisions, that it's honestly going to be a conversation, a study, collaboration, all of those good things that you just said. And, you know, and again, that understanding, like we talked about last time, that the four of us are in this together and we can't make decisions independent of how it impacts the others.
Right. You want something that we all benefit from this, especially, there are, if we have our adolescents going to school later, and you can stagger too. We're open to options, staggering middle school and high school, and with the elementary schools. We want to benefit everyone in the community.
I think one thing that came to mind too is that like another like sort of point in the pitch is it might be beneficial to all of our communities in terms of like student, longer term increased performance, right? And so that also attracts people to like our communities. So I think that's another thing to consider.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how beneficial it is, but it just says, I found something that says for decades, starting school after 8:30 has been a standard for many countries, and Finland, Japan, New Zealand, Australia, England, which all outperform the U.S. in the international student achievement tests. And actually, apparently, we rank worst in sleep deprivation. So, it's sort of changing the mindset to making choices and around school that's best for students and their academic performance and athletic. You talk about injuries and mental health, car crashes, things that do actually require focus and attention from them when we have them on the roads and out earlier in the morning. They could have enrichment opportunities, but definitely having older students home could be beneficial in the morning, that it wouldn't impede work schedules. I think that's also going to have to be a concern for people of, there's a big shift to be later for the elementary schools, just keeping that in mind.
So you lost one of your committee members, so you no longer have a quorum at the moment.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. So do we stop? Do we pause? Do we wait till she gets back on? She might have hit a dead zone.
Yeah, she probably did. I think we can give a quick little pause. There she is, coming back.
Oh no, what happened? But my phone just shut off.
Oh. Well, technology is great as long as it works.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I missed what you were saying. So I know we're like coming close to time, but
yes.
So I'm happy to like connect with a librarian to just get a comprehensive like list of articles and to sort of see like how, if they haven't, to highlight some of the main findings specifically for middle and high school. And then I think we can think about sort of, we mentioned lots of points today that we should mention. But yeah, we can just strategize and think about like what those talking points are.
Right. So I just something I told Jen I put something together, and it just said, something says, let's explore this together. We're inviting, our schools, our elementary school superintendents across our region to join a collaborative regional exploration of how we can responsibly shift adolescent school start times.
So what I would
I wonder-
suggest to do is, I think somebody has to take responsibility for getting the infographic or the content of the infographic started, because making one isn't that hard once you have the content. I think, Donna, if you BCC share that with the other members of the committee, they can give you feedback
Okay.
so that by our October 27th meeting, we have an actual draft
Okay.
of what that is going to be. And then we can use that meeting to do edits and to think about what the persuasive conversation is going to be to go along with that handout, so to speak.
So would I just send it to you and then BCC them, or how would that work?
No, just BCC everybody.
Okay.
So draft it up and then just blind copy everyone on the committee. So
You and Tom,
yeah, me and Tom, but then also Andrea, Carol, and Kathy.
right?
So that way
it's
nobody
not a
can
meeting?
nobody can respond as a group.
We can just discuss during the 27th.
Well, yes, we can discuss it, but I think that way people can add ideas, they can give
Okay.
feedback, and then we'll have information that can be converted to that infographic. And then we can bring it up and discuss it on the 27th.
Okay. All right. I don't want to do it incorrectly, so I will just BCC. I'll send it to myself and BCC everybody. How's
There you
that?
go.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So I can send it. It does say draft on it. It just, I just wrote it up really quick. So any thoughts and ideas? It ends up being about 2 pages.
Is this something that's going to be sent to them ahead, or invitation, or like?
No, it's our regular meeting. We meet once a month, and so they
Okay.
just asked for simplicity because our schedules are very difficult to manage. If
Yep.
the Amity board could come to that meeting, and so they know it's coming.
Okay.
So they're aware of it. It's not going to catch them by surprise.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. Anything else? Anyone have anything else to add? Okay. So we will adjourn our meeting at 4:51.
Yep, and our next meeting is the 27th at 4:00 by Zoom.
Yes, by Zoom.
So,
Okay.
okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Just be on the lookout and I will send it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you for leading this, Donna. Thank you. Thanks, Jen.
Yes, thank you, Donna.
Thanks.